And I'd like to recognize KW if you want to identify yourself, or I can change your name to something more descriptive.
Good evening. It's Keith Wassinger.
Hi, Keith.
Sorry, I'm driving, so I just jumping on.
Gotcha. Okay, I hope not to distract you too much. Yeah, welcome. Um, Great. So we've got lots of things to talk about tonight. So I'd like to um, there's the usual agenda where we can talk about updates, about things that are happening, about your experiences with the glove, and uh, and then time for a little neuroscience Parkinson's research paper. A direction that I thank Julie for kind of sending my way, right? So thank you, Julie, for that. And I hope you can help me kind of co-present some of the ideas, or at least the connection to diabetes and the like. Um, but before that, I guess kind of updates. I just each week I feel I mean, I'm just closing in on kind of completing the app. The app is in. It's completely. I shouldn't say the framework is ready for Android and for iOS. I'm just fine tuning it with the developer to really get them to make sure that the data we're collecting is consistent through both means. As we collect this data, then we'll finally have a chance to tune the glove to the individual. Right now, everybody's getting the TOS stimulus. And as we talked about this morning, in a great conversation I had with Ken and a fellow vibratory PD worker, a third of the people responding well, a third of the people responding and a third, not responding at all. And so I'm really hoping that the app lets us tune the glove, or at least, if nothing else, we're going to explore the parameter set of the glove. Um, and see, can we, again, serving 100% of PD people is the ideal. Right now, if we're at 20 to 35%, can we push it to the other 60%? Um, and along the way, can we better understand Parkinson's? And so that's where the app sits. I just got something back from my app developer. He says he could do this like today or tomorrow. Um, I know how to push it out the iOS. So just kind of stay tuned this week, friends, for an announcement about how I can how basically how Android people can get the latest version, and how iOS can be added to my test flight. Um, Test flight is the precursor to throwing something onto the iOS app, the Apple Store. Um, and all that's now been kind of been ready made, and we're just kind of fine tuning the final app to make sure both versions are consistent, or as consistent as possible before releasing them to a couple hundred users. So, um, but in addition, I guess I'm really excited. I hope to hear from Ken about the conversation that he started this morning with a manufacturer of a vibrating shoe in Europe, and their connection, their interest in vibrating gloves. And I also hope to hear from Lauren, who is just back from the World Congress of Parkinson's that was held in Phoenix, kind of her hometown, or at least her the town of her current residence, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Um, and so uh, maybe Lauren, we can start with you, kind of the big picture, and then we can move into Ken, do you mind reporting on the conversation that we had
No,
this
I'll be glad
morning?
to.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
glad to.
So let's start with a more general overview from Lauren.
Okay, hold on. Lauren's got her gloves on. Now I want to get a book, so hold on.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Sorry. Unless I turn the gloves off, they're going to be vibrating on the desk. So now
Gotcha.
they're off. Okay. So I was fortunate to live in the city that the World Parkinson's Congress chose for their event this year. It happens every 3 years. I heard 2 years, but then when you look at the dates, they're 3 years out. Oh gosh, I have the background. Oh, I don't know what to do. Let's see. Anybody know how do I can go back to get rid of the background?
Um,
I just wanted to give you a general idea of the.
yeah, I think under video there's video and effect settings, but yeah, I think we got. You see under the video menu, there's a video and effect settings,
I don't see
um,
a video menu.
and even there should be like a blur my background, and you can kind of turn that off right under
That's what
select.
I'm looking for. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hold on.
May all be running slightly different versions of Zoom, probably. But under my menu, there's a little slider. I'm going to move it right now. I just clicked it, and my background is blurred, and now I unclick it, and
Where is that under Zoom
it's
Workplace?
under video. It's on the far
I,
left. There's audio and video on the far left of the Zoom bar on the bottom of your screen.
oh, right, of course. And okay. Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Took me a minute to
Good, good.
figure that out. Okay, anyway. So this is the book that you get. It's quite thick. It's really brilliantly put together because there's a lot of color combinations that lead you to different sections and so forth. I was not ready for this much and diverse information. It was hard to make a selection sometimes as to what you wanted to attend. They had something called posters, which was a big room, rows and rows of people that put together their presentation on like a poster board. And there was one scientist there who my friend, who's also has Parkinson's, went with me to the event. And she's friends with this scientist that's working out of Santa Cruz, California, on a solution where they think that they're really close to being able to address the symptoms. And they had funding from National Institute of what is it? NIH. Health.
NIH, yeah.
Yeah, and that was pulled because of the current political situation,
Yeah.
and they're just right at the brink. So they're vying for venture capitalists to invest in them, so that they can close their research out, and hopefully through clinical trials prove their hypotheses, which would really be tremendous. They're trying to segment people with Parkinson's with different types of manifestations of the disease, because they say, you meet one person, you've only met one person. So that was very interesting how they're going about doing that. But the sad thing is that a lot of the rows and rows of these scientists and people are all vying for venture capitalist investments. And that seems to be where it's at right now, which is, for me, so disappointing, that they're all vying for, because the venture capitalists, what do they want? AI, because it's shiny and
Yeah.
exciting,
Yeah.
and, the potential of things, not necessarily the logic stream that you go through if you're a scientist and you're trying to address a condition.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
they also want a big return on their investment, right? And so something,
Oh, yeah.
low tech solutions like what we're working on, are just not on their radar screen. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly. But so that was pretty interesting. The there are different tracks to go through. Some of them are designed for people that are doing research in the field, whether they're neuroscientists or in the medical field in some other capacity. And then it goes from highly technical, highly scientific down to anybody can consume this. And a lot of stuff in the middle. So the next one is in Quebec City in 2029. Is that right, Ken? 2029?
3 years. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we're definitely going. And now that I've been through this, I have a better idea of how I can maximize my um, experience because there's just so much. You've got to be really um, specific about what you want to get out of it. And so I was in some scientific meetings that were really beyond anything I could understand, even with a glossary of terms.
Mhm.
But other stuff was fascinating. Like I learned how to play the harmonica, and I learned how to play when the Saints come marching in. And it was designed. This program was designed for people that, we lose our capacity for speech and things, and swallowing could be a problem. And so playing the harmonica addresses that sort of thing. So that was a fun part of it.
Cool. Wow. Um,
Oh, I met the guy from Beach Band, Carl Beach,
mhm.
and I spoke to him a little bit. His table was pretty crowded with people interested in that vibration therapy. Um, didn't have a whole, a robust conversation because there was so many people, but there's obviously interest in vibrating devices. I spoke with one doctor, and I asked her about what she thought about vibrating solutions, and I didn't realize that she represented a pharmaceutical company. So
Uh-huh.
her answer, of course, was, "Oh, that's just old stuff. No, you need a pump. That's
Mhm.
what you need. You need pump delivery of levodopa." I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
probably the same woman came to.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Um,
anyway, so that was my experience. It was pretty overwhelming.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
But a lot of fun, a whole lot of fun, and met tons of people. And opening ceremony was fantastic. And the closing ceremony, they sent us off into the street singing and in a joyous mood. So that was pretty spectacular.
wow.
I still
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
on to that.
Yeah, I was curious about kind of the zeitgeist or the vibe. I know it's thousands of people and it's super complicated, but was there did they kind of did they focus on kind of reasons for hope? And then
Oh, a lot of
yeah.
reasons for hope. And there are a lot of reasons for hope. If you meet the poster people, all
Hmm.
of them, are full of hope.
Yeah,
But they sent us off singing "You Are Not Alone," not for a minute.
gotcha.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
They opened with a choir and dance and a bunch of other presentations in the middle, and they closed with a drum circle and people singing and dance. And then just the whole thing. It was so
Yeah.
spirited,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of happy moments. And there were a lot of moments just to sort of bump into people and meet people. And I met some folks from Ireland. I met some folks from just all over the place. And everybody's very open. They had something like 200 volunteers that
Hmm.
helped direct you, which were all, some of them were my colleagues here in town, friends in
Yeah.
town. And everybody was so helpful, so positive. Um, it was really, spiritually, it was just a real big boost, you know,
Cool. Wow.
and a lot of hope
Yeah.
and a huge amount of information.
I wonder about kind of the demographics. I remember reading, I think they have a sliding scale for participants coming from non-first world countries. So did you see much representation from Latin America or Africa?
Um, Perhaps there was, but I wasn't aware
Gotcha.
specifically.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's expensive, right? I mean, what's the registration fee?
It was $300,
Oh, that's not
which
that's not
this is for
ridiculous.
4 days of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Some
that's
went
cool.
on till 10
Yeah,
o'clock at night.
gotcha.
So, yeah, this is definitely not expensive.
Uh, cool. Well,
So, yeah, you are not alone. That was
mhm.
great. We're all out in the street, singing
Yeah, yeah.
as the conference room emptied out.
And was there much press? Was there press there covering such a
Not aware of press
exuberance in the
either.
street? That's something to talk about. Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It really is. And hugs, lots of hugs.
Hmm.
It was
Cool.
really uplifting.
Oh,
And it was so multidimensional, from the scientific papers to the presentations and they had a room. They were teaching tango. You could get a massage. They had support group leaders meeting and talking and sharing ideas. So it was a lot going on.
mhm.
And I was
Well,
just wishing that we could have a presence there, but we're not ready. It's
yeah,
just too
yeah.
soon.
No, but
So perhaps,
it's really good to do what you're doing, kind of to spread the word, right, and kind of setting an expectation, um, that we just need to keep on pushing this work, and we should be ready to submit and to represent. Um, so
yes, yes. I'll man the table.
thank you, Lauren.
If,
Yes,
if we need anybody at the table, I'm more than happy to do that.
my students and I have made hundreds, maybe thousands of posters over the years, and so yeah, so but the key thing is the results, and I want more
That's right.
results. Yeah.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
other folks have questions for Lauren, please?
Sounds great.
Oh, it was so much fun, Julie.
That's so great you could go.
Yes. And I'm happy that the first one was here. It was convenient for me. Now I figured it out, how to get more out of the event. So I'm really looking forward to Quebec City.
Cool, cool. I'm planning a migration to Canada. My youngest son lives in British Columbia. He married a Canadian, and we're trying to build a summer place on their property. So as we
Oh,
as we as
lovely.
we age.
Where does he live in British Columbia?
In Penticton, it's kind of in the Central Valley, just north of Wenatchee, Washington State. Yeah, so it's
Uh-huh.
fruit country.
Hmm.
It's also
Great.
it's the northern tip of the Sonoran Desert, which is not far from what I know, but he's at the northern tip. So as you cross the border, Canada says we extend our warmest welcome. So it's the warmest spot in Canada. So
That's funny.
I haven't
It
been to
is
Quebec
kind
City.
of far from Quebec, though.
Yes, it is, but it's at least maybe in country. So
At least the
um,
same country.
yeah, different language.
Uh,
Good. Well, I hope you guys, if questions come up, we can use Lauren as a resource. It is a fire hose to attend one of these World Congresses. I mean, just every 3 years, there's so much kind of piles up. And and as you guys know much better than me, I mean, Parkinson's is a whole body, whole family disorder. And so there's lots and lots of ways people can come to address and to alleviate some of the worst symptoms. So,
When I find the site that might have the papers and the information, I'll give it to you, Steve, and perhaps
okay.
you can
Okay.
distribute that.
Great. Great. Thanks, Lauren.
Sure.
Um, Yeah, so Ken mentioned, so in addition to the beach band guy being there on kind of vibration therapy, there's also a company um, kind of talking about their vibrating shoe. And when Ken and I met with one of the founders this morning in Zurich via Zoom, and so Ken, do you want to kind of review the
Sure.
conversation we had this morning?
Yeah, we had a mini sort of World Congress in Florida, in
Right.
Sarasota. It's called the Expo.
Yeah.
And it's a very large activity with like 1,000 people attend. Edie was there with the Poles, um, and it had an exhibition, and it's in March. We went last year, and then we went this year. When we went this year, my wife and I, we wandered around, we talked to all the exhibitors. And the one we came across was a guy who made shoes, which were designed to improve gait. And the gentleman was a Dr. Uh, Ogag, and it was a company out of Zurich. And he was very knowledgeable. I forget what his specialty was, but he made this shoe that could basically detect any changes in your gait, your pressure, how your foot swung, and um, and then it also provided vibration where it would vibrate in the shoe. And it was the end of the conference, so I didn't have too much time, but I did try them on. But then I've got a good friend of mine who is in our support group, and he's an ambassador for DBS from I forget the company, one of the ones, and because he had Parkinson's at like 30 years old,
Mhm.
and he went to DBS and it really eliminated his tremor, and he's just a great guy, and he was going because he was their ambassador, so they were paying his way there. And I said to him, I said, well, go look up this shoe guy because he's going to be there. And he looked up the shoe guy and he went there, and he couldn't believe how good they were. And so he was very impressed. And I talked to him out there, and he decided to buy a pair of these shoes, and they're like $2,000. But he's going to get compensated, I think, by a grant from the state of Florida and who knows what. But he's very impressed with them, and so I'm sort of following up that lead. But what intrigued me was there's a glove manufacturer in Germany who is working with the shoe guy because the shoe can give feedback to the glove. And correct me if I'm misstating it, Steve, but basically the concept that I had was use the shoe as a way to evaluate how good your glove is. And that's
Yeah.
what this company in Germany is doing. And the company, just so you can find these web pages, the company in that makes the shoes is Magnus, Magnes. So the website is magnes.ch, and that's for glycerin.
Oh, Z
And
is in H.
CH as in chair. Yeah,
Oh,
CH.
chair.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's what I thought I heard.
I can put it in the chat as well. Yeah, so it's
Okay,
not. I should have thrown it in the agenda, but it just happened this morning. So sorry to.
that's
yeah,
okay. Thank you.
and then the sure enough, the glove manufacturer, I haven't talked to him directly, but I'm trying to find a picture. I'm not that I'm not that familiar with using Zoom, but I don't know how to show my screen.
There should be a Zoom bar at the bottom of your screen where it says share. And if you click on that arrow, it then allows you to. It's kind of complicated. You can choose a tab or just choose to share the whole screen.
Where is it?
It should be on the bottom of your Zoom screen. Uh, if you does your Zoom screen fill your whole screen, or I probably not if you're looking for another image. There's a toolbar at the bottom of the Zoom gallery.
Yeah.
Ken, if you don't see it, if you move your cursor, it'll appear.
I've got it, but now
Cool. Something's coming, man. You're making things happen. We see your snipping tool.
yeah, it's I don't know. Oh, here it is. Yeah,
I think we still just have
Pure Attack.
we've got a magnified view of your snipping tools. All we can see, Ken, is that when you share, there's a number of you can share different tabs with the whole screen, and I don't think we're looking at what you want us to look at.
No, how do I get to?
I can bring it up as well for quickly.
Yeah,
So
why don't you bring it up? It's CureTech, CureTech.net.
say that again. I got the browser up. Say again.
CureTech.net.
CureTech. Fueling tomorrow's discoveries, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then scroll down to like the third page, our new product.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
That's pretty amazing, amazing.
Okay. Can you guys see what Ken's wanting us to see? Our new product, the Easy
There it
Glove.
is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
So this really intrigued me. So the shoe guy put me onto this guy and this company. I mean, that is a beautiful looking pair of gloves. Those are like the same type of uh, tactor holders that you see on an oxygen
Yeah.
sensor.
Yeah.
I've always liked them. They're like clothespins,
Yeah.
and it's just really cool. And I wanted to just see where these gloves were. And the guy from the shoe company said that these guys are going through the approval process. And if you go to this company, this is even bigger. This is like 40 people, and it's loaded with PhDs.
Hmm.
So, I thought that we could get some information from this company and maybe I end up buying a pair of gloves from him. But it just convinced me that we're on the right track with neurotactile devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I arranged for a conference call with myself, Mary, my wife, and Dr. Steve. And I think we had a good conference this morning. There's another PhD, Dr. George, and he was great.
Yeah. Yeah. And he really wants to collaborate. You know, and also the guy this morning, this is the shoe guy, right? But he did mention, and this has been a mystery for all of us in the vibrotactile kind of space. I mean, he mentioned that one private investor in Switzerland had bought up all of Toss's patents for vibrotactile gloves. Is that right, Ken? That's what I heard this morning. So
That's what I heard, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
shocking.
And the motivation is still unclear, but the guy we met with this morning, the Nushu, the vibrating shoe manufacturer, is soon to be meeting with his fellow Swiss countrymen to talk about Tass's patents. And so this is the first time I've seen this glove, Ken, that we're looking at now. So we experimented, with these kind of finger holders for a while, and we didn't succeed. They're kind of they were a little bit too bulky, and they were touching each other. This is pretty cool, huh, Laura? So
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm showing it to my partner Laura on these things. Our current box is about this size, right? So our engineering team has reduced something to about this size, with its own kind of self-charging pad rather than plugging in a cable. So yeah, and I really like this.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
really, I really like the glove idea, right? That it seems ours is still a little bit fragile way back here with longer wires, pushing it up onto the back of the hand and having a glove that anchors on the thumb, can kind of fix it. So just the ergonomics of this are super attractive.
Well, that's
Um,
what that's what we do. We take your glove and put a bicycle glove to it.
right, right. And you guys have talked about that, and we've not succeeded in kind of pushing those out ourselves. So
Hmm.
um, this is
And
this is
ruggedize your glove.
yeah, ruggedized. That's the right word. Robustify. Um,
And this group is in San Diego, CureTech?
No, they're in Germany.
they're in Germany. Yeah.
Well, I thought I saw something about them going to an event in San Diego.
There was an event in San Diego where they talked about this product. It was a medical conference last year.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the shoe guys also. I mean, they're getting patents, and he has FDA approval. They're like in many many countries. Um, and it was really really fascinating what he. So it's I guess to kind of to amplify what Ken was talking about. So that there's So the shoe itself has sensors in it. Basically, each shoe is a smartphone, and the shoes talk to each other by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And so the shoes then can coordinate the vibration to overcome freezing or instability in gait. But one key thing is also there's like 11 sensors, and they're sensing so much about the walked experience. They're also less invasive. I mean, everyone needs to wear shoes, but not everyone needs extra things on their fingertips, right? To kind of stop them from like opening books like Lauren wasn't able to do. And so just on the measurement side, it's already fairly, super useful. And then he talked about the very practical issue that we've all been dealing with, or I especially feel kind of frustrated as I read the medical literature and I see measurement techniques out there for quantifying Parkinson's. And the shoe guy mentioned today that they've been able to get every neurological clinic in Switzerland to have 5 pair of their shoes. But in order to get a neurologist to use the shoes as a measurement device, they need a financial incentive. And so the way neurologists are trained, it's all subjective visual scoring of Parkinson's symptoms. And so until things change in the medical training or until money enters the picture, devices that can quantify, your Parkinson's symptoms over days, weeks, months, those are not going to be used without money. So in Switzerland, they've succeeded in getting these into clinics, um, and they've got kind of state funding for $2,000 for a pair of shoes. They've now opened up clinics in New York, and in California, right? Ken, they're opening one soon in
Yes.
Florida, and the price of the shoes will be $15,000 a pair.
No, no, that was a glove.
Oh,
The shoe was two.
the shoe was too, but I thought this was George's product that was going not that
No,
not.
George was talking about the gloves when he said the gloves were going to be
Okay,
15.
gotcha. Okay. So is he
But
talking
these,
is he talking these gloves we're looking at right now?
Yes,
I see.
yes,
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I
yeah.
apologize. Yeah. But anyways, I mean, it's just um, for sure the gloves we're making are too cheap, right? That we need to do a better job. But for $15,000, we can do it.
No,
It's
it
just
wasn't going to be 15. Oh, yeah, well, that was going to be 15. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the thing that was intriguing is these gloves are probably the most advanced gloves in the world since
yeah,
Peter Tass is not involved in it. So you're looking at the most furthest along in product in this
yeah,
approval cycle.
yeah.
And they're working with the shoe guy to improve their glove.
Right. To basically take measurements of the improved gait and things like that, right? So yeah. Um, okay. So food for thought, right? As we kind of go forward, and we're going to, like I said, the shoe guy was quite collaborative. I mentioned that that he's undergoing clinical trials for the shoe, but has not yet really been interacting with. He's comes out of engineering, not neurology or neuroscience. So I think we're going to continue to see where we can kind of collaborate. Um, and in the meantime, I mean, my students are going to start building, they're going to putting sensors in shoes. There's no, we can do that. Um, and again, they're just kids exploring these things. So I may be able to send out a pair in the next year to folks
Just
that want
don't
to use
dilute
these
your
measurements.
efforts too much.
Say again, Ken?
Don't dilute your efforts too much.
Yeah. No, that's, I guess, to my mind, the app we're about ready to release this week is already measuring gait fairly well and voice fairly well, right? And um, you know, voice is a really strong, measurement indicator of severity of Parkinson's symptoms. Again, not for everybody. Not everyone has reduced, vocal acuity, but that's something the shoes can't do, and it's something that you guys already have that capacity in your cell phone. We just need to integrate that with the tuning. Um,
Yeah.
so
Steve,
yes,
what are you doing right now about the usability of the glove and looking at options for the fingers, particularly this approach using this sort of stretchy band on the thumb and across looks really great, but the fingers, I think, are the biggest issue of
yeah,
being able to do anything practically for that number of hours a day.
yeah. Um, Yeah, so we've got something we're looking at this. Ben Ken has been kind of pushing us this, and Ken and the other Ken Heitkamp as well has been kind of pushing this on this kind of wrestling glove, bike glove. Um, the latest design, which we're not yet shipping, has moved the box from the wrist down onto the back of the hand. the clamshell things we've experimented with, they were too big and bulky. And um, but it's possible to go there, but it's still Mary, it's this still inhibits your ability to use those digits, right?
Yeah. Is it, I'm just thinking out loud right now, is it possible to use a glove, a stretchy glove, turn it inside out and be able to take those metal pieces that you have to put on the fingertips and glue those onto the glove on the inside with the wires so that it's all internal to the glove?
Um, yeah, that is possible. That is possible. That's and um, I think Frank had a pair of those at one time. He's been wearing the glove for more than a year and a half. They that um, the manufacturing of that was very, very laborious. And 'cause we've gone kind of back and forth with, keeping it kind of ready-made and affordable as opposed to something more intense. But we do need to keep on challenging our sewing group, to find better ways to kind of keep the wires, internal, as you're saying. That the internal wires are do correspond to the design of the students at Rice University, and I'm meeting up with them this week to talk about their design. And I think in the coming Monday Zoom session, Mary, that they will present their design and their results. It's quite labor intensive. So far, they've yet to distribute. They're running kind of a small trial. Ken Heitkamp, one of our participants in the Espanola glove, is also supporting them and wearing one of their gloves. And Ken sent me pictures of theirs. So they do have all the wires, kind of internal, and the motors and the wires are all internal to the structure, and um, so.
I just wanted to react to it, although I haven't seen those at all, but I'm imagining how our fingers wouldn't get all tangled in all those wires and all that stuff once it's inside the glove. It does seem like a tangle.
Yeah, so the wires themselves are not exposed to your skin, right? So there's double layer of fabric, right? So
Gotcha.
the wires are in
Gotcha.
tracks that are sewed into the fingers. Yeah.
Mhm.
Back a couple years ago, I had an injury in my hand, and this isn't a bike
Uh,
glove.
Gotcha.
I don't bike, so I don't know what they are. But
Uh,
I had this little spongy thing
mhm.
ordered at the medical supply place, and it's Velcro closure,
Yeah.
which maybe that one is too. I don't know, but it's pretty nifty. It made me looking at this on the screen made me think about it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Is that something like what you're using, Ken?
Well, if you go to my picture,
Mhm.
you see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop the share so we can kind of get a better look. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, we take a bicycle glove. This is actually a weightlifting glove, and we mount the motor
Or the box. Yeah. Yeah.
box on the wrist part, and then we this is part of your cloth here,
Yeah.
and then we come here. So the wires are still exposed,
Yes.
but this is easier to put on. You
Hmm.
basically
Just sort of
like
slide
this,
it
and
on.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
get it on tight, and then you just keep everything straight. You hang them straight.
It's a little bit blurred, Ken. Are you able to turn off the blur on your video?
What?
Are you able to turn off the blur? So your video wants to capture your face, and it's kind of
Oh,
blurring the background. Do you know, again, on the bottom zoom, if when you hover over get the zoom bar on the bottom, if you click on video, it gives you, well, if you click on that video, you lose the video. If you click on the little menu button, you get a little button that says blur my background. Um,
oh, I know do that. Where's that again?
It's on. So if you hover on your screen, you get the zoom bar back. It's on the far left under video, and then there's a caret for a menu, the bottom left of your Zoom screen.
I've got blur my background on.
Yeah, but you want to unblur it.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. Oop, yeah, excellent. See, when you were holding up the fingers before, they got blurred because they weren't. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Is that better, friends? Can you see what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
let's see, this is a bicycle, or was using bicycle gloves. Then a friend of mine had a really fat hand, so we got
Mhm.
these really big gloves.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is it keeps it a little bit stronger, and you still can't do anything much.
Yeah.
But what you can do is what I usually do is leave this finger off, and when I leave that finger off, I can run a mouse.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I can also ride my Peloton.
Yeah.
Availability of even one index finger would make a lot of difference to usability.
Yeah, and I slide the one off and just use it with this finger off.
Yeah.
I do the
But
same.
it's just more rugged.
Yeah. That's a great point, Rich. I mean, so we are, and currently I'm meeting with a neurologist on Wednesday to start planning these clinical trials, right? And the question of, is one glove enough? Is one glove 2 hours a day? But also just removing the index finger, as you say, could lead to better adherence. And if that still is having an impact, that's something I'd like to know. So,
Well, for
Well,
me,
see, the other
it's
thing is Peter
a
Tass's
huge
club's
impact.
mirrored. We don't mirror.
right, right. We're not mirroring that, but we are asking folks to wear all four fingers. Um,
Right.
I've been using rubber bands on the gloves on the far side of the box.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
It keeps very simple rubber bands. It keeps the glove stable
Oh, that's
Gotcha.
good. Yeah.
in a way. It's very simple, but it
Hmm.
allows me more movement in my hand because I don't have to worry
But
about
that's
losing the traction of the glove itself.
Gotcha, gotcha. Is
It
that
just
because the
holds the glove
Velcro
in
is kind of too
place.
weak, Steve?
The Velcro is too weak,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and
Okay,
so it's very simple, but it does the trick for me.
gotcha.
I had an aside question. Is there any follow up on the idea of whether wearing the glove while we're sleeping and lying down, is that the same effect going to occur or
Yeah,
not?
we still don't have any answers to that, and that's something we'll be able to kind of collect that data when the app gets released, because you'll be able to report to us, kind of the activity levels of when you're wearing the glove, because we have folks that are wearing them when they're sleeping, and they're still getting quality of life responses. Lauren, for example, you could speak
Yep.
to that, right? Yeah. So,
Yes.
Steve, have you heard Lauren talk about this question about wearing the glove while sleeping?
No.
Okay, please, Lauren.
Sure thing. So when I first got the glove, I was having a problem sleeping, and so I woke up real early and I put the gloves on when I first got them, and I was just lying in bed and with them working and just relaxing, and I found the rhythm of the vibration very relaxing also. As long as I didn't touch my body with the hands. So as long as my hands were like next to me, but if I had my hands on my body, then my body was saying, "Oh, what is that?" And that was sort of keeping me awake. But if with my hands next to me on the bed, it was fine. And then I started doing it at night, wearing it before I went to sleep, about an hour before I went to sleep. And then I started wearing them, and I would fall asleep. And that wasn't really my intention, but I've had very restful sleep. I'm grateful, Steve, for this device, just for that, because my quality of life improved right away.
Mhm.
Well, I'm finding that I can go into a deep, relaxed state and I can read because I'll wake up early in the morning also. I'll zone out.
Mhm.
I find myself, and I use this as a meaningful criteria. I like the experience of wearing the gloves. I like it,
Mhm.
and it provides a state that is calming to me. I'm just wondering if it's affecting me neurologically or
Uh-huh.
not. Am I
Uh-huh.
Is this a placebo effect that I'm enjoying? Or is there,
Can I address that? Can I
yeah,
answer
please.
that question? My perception of it is that you're getting value of it. You're getting value because you're relaxed. And your body's not stimulated with the shaking, the tremors, and so forth. So I think that I don't know, Steve, what this device actually does to make new neural pathways or whatever, or is it just the relaxation of it is
I
causing
understand.
yeah. So my perception is that it puts me into a relaxed state that I benefit from, and that relaxed state then causes me to be able to sleep through the night, um, gets rid of my tremor or removes or decreases it from being really crazy to something that is almost not detectable.
Yeah, I
So
find my tremor has been reduced for sure. The
isn't that
intensity,
great?
yeah, intensity and frequency.
Yeah.
And I use the measure of liking wearing it is important to me because
Yeah, yeah.
I use that way of knowing to make a lot of decisions in my life. Do I like
Uh,
it? Do I not
Mhm.
like it?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I do like it. I find it relaxing.
yeah, me too. And I'm
So
wondering about cutting back on the time because I've been pretty religious with it. 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours after late afternoon or early evening.
I
And I'm
was doing
wondering,
2 and 2, but I'm down to 1 and 1.
and you find any difference?
No, no, I get full benefit.
I think I'm going to follow that as a possibility and alternate days and see if I feel something.
How
Yeah.
long have you been wearing them, Lauren? How many
Uh,
months?
how long have I had them, Steve? I don't
That's
know.
good.
Um, I'm
I can
not.
look in the database, but it's close to a year, I would say.
Wow.
Well, I've been using them for about 2 months,
Uh-huh.
and I enjoy having it in part of routine. And my rhythm of sleep and relaxation has changed. I can go into a pretty deep meditative state while I'm wearing where I'm when I'm wearing them as well.
Yes, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
So it could be there's my money's worth right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Steve, it sounds like you and I have somewhat of a similar experience wearing them. So it'd be interesting to look at the results that are captured by the software and see if there is any correlation there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to try alternating 1 hour. I'm
Uh-huh.
going to play with the time and measure it and see if I notice any differences based on that.
Julie Dunsmore and I were doing something like that where we were trying to keep track of, being religious about something and then deviating and trying to see if the effect is different. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
let's
it's
talk more,
worthwhile.
Lauren. I want to talk more with you about that, but we can catch
Okay.
up over the phone.
I mean, and the current version of the glove that we're sending, the glove also keeps track of on time. I mean, on time of the glove, not on time of the levodopa business. But so, because I know it's not even so easy to keep a log, right? I mean, maybe you guys. It sounds like Steve and Lauren, you're pretty religious, right, about keeping track. But hopefully, for some people, ideally one should forget that they have them on, right, and can kind of go through their motions and then not really realize how long they've been on. So I'm also trying to find ways to automatically record because the neurologists are quite interested in adherence, right? And so when I asked the neurologist this question, Steve, about whether we should be active or or sedentary, they come back over and over again and say the main thing is adherence. The main thing is just having a routine that you can kind of stick
Consistency.
to, and whether it's 1 hour twice a day or 90 minutes twice a day, the key is kind of sticking to it. The believed mechanism for how this works. So kind of relaxation and meditation are those are lovely words, I think, for the meta explanation is that in the absence of dopamine, the brain is hyperconnected. The brain is hyperconnected. And by playing these random stimuli, we're basically tricking the brain into loosening some of its connections. We're playing it signals that would kind of ask for motion of the hands, but then nothing comes of it. Like three on phases and two offs. And so that type of random shuffle is believed to weaken an overconnected brain. And again, at the single cell level. Whether that weakening, of the overconnected brain gives you kind of better sleep, an ability to concentrate, or ability to relax or to meditate. that all sounds like a reasonable story to me, but these are still like early days. We don't really know the true mechanism for
Can
how
you
the
say a
glove works.
little something about the overconnected brain, what that means to you?
Yeah, yeah. And so um, um, yeah, so we looked at this in some we looked at this in two previous meetings, Steve. We looked at it's even in our third meeting we kind of had a slow read through Toss's original paper about about how the glove works um, and it's not it's not ethical really to look at individual brain connections in the human brain while you're wearing the glove. And so he looked at the electroencephalogram. So he had about 100 electrodes, just measuring, not stimulating. So 100 electrodes on the brain of a patient before wearing the glove, and then 3 months later. Um, and he saw that before wearing the glove, the Parkinsonian patient had a heightened level of synchronous activity in the cortex. So many cells were firing together at around the same frequency band. It's a good functional band, but more cells than normal were part of this symphony, part of this noise, which is what he would call it, right? And that basically by playing the glove, we kind of denoised the cortex by weakening the connections. Weakening the connections means fewer cells were vibrating in sync, which again means maybe there's a better chance of voluntary motion when cells are not being recruited by their neighbors to be pulsing at this 20 hertz rhythm.
Mm.
So that's kind of it's indirect evidence, and that's also, I mean, that dopamine does most of its job down in the brainstem, substantia nigra. He was only measuring things up in motor cortex, but motor cortex is where you plan your emotions. And so by showing that the gloves could attenuate that synchronous rhythm in the brain, again, the idea was that they're running in sync because they're talking to each other too heavily. So by weakening those connections, and in other Sundays we've talked about the synapses, the connections between neurons, and how they can be regulated by behavior,
Right.
by
Right.
drugs, um, and by vibration.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's an ongoing question we've been having, Steve, is how the mechanism of how the glove works and how do we measure these things? Um,
Yeah. Well, I've
so
been inspired listening to you, Lauren, to now go into a different routine that I can be religious about
mhm.
and observe, do I have the ability to note any differences if I change the time period or anything like that? And I can let you know because I'm just curious if I can cut it back from 2 hours twice a week to 1 hour twice a day,
Yeah.
2 hours twice a day to 1 hour. That's okay with me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
more, Dave.
Steve, how long have you had your gloves?
I would say about, I'm guessing, 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right.
Steve,
Thank you. I'm going to take a break.
Okay.
And I ordered a red light. I'm curious about introducing
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha.
That I can report back.
Yeah. Yeah. Please. Um,
I'm about set to order a red light, so I need some advice or someone to talk to about which one to go with or whether it's the helmet or what.
So I've been using one for several months that I got from my chiropractor.
From where?
From my chiropractor
Oh,
I'm in Sonoma County.
do you want to
well,
talk about
could we connect about it or there's a lot of different ones out there on the market and stuff. So.
Yeah, I don't have the brand or model in my head, but I can definitely gather that information and share it.
and are you finding some relief to Parkinson's symptoms for the red light?
It's hard to say. I'm kind of trying so many different things. It's
Right.
hard to say what's working. I think that the gloves, I definitely have noticed a change. I've been using them for about a week and a half now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and I'm sorry I got in late. I thought we were at 7 o'clock Pacific time, and I'm hoping that this is being recorded so I can listen to the rest of it.
It is, yes, yeah, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I will see you in the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye,
Steve,
Steve. Mary,
Steve,
yes, yes.
yeah, is there a session that we've missed that addresses the adjustments of the vibration levels that we could watch, or is that something that we could talk about today?
That's something I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, I want to. Um,
Too late.
we haven't had a session on this because not everyone has had an app that would allow you to do that. And I think I talked a little bit about the app in right at the beginning of the meeting, Mary, and I'm not sure if you and Richard had kind of logged on by that time. And so there's um, I really feel like we're going to be able to push out the app, later this week. And so once that's the case, then we'll have a demonstration, at least for how to change the settings. Um, but then by now, we will be collecting data from hopefully more than 100 folks out there, and that should be enough to. So I will show you how to adjust them for comfort levels, but for kind of how to adjust them for symptoms, we need to collect a whole lot more data, right? And so basically, the glove has to learn Richard's symptoms, and that'll happen in kind of two or three ways. And so you guys will be able to log kind of the drug intake, exercise and diet, psychological symptoms as well as physical symptoms. You'll be able to log those, let's say once a week. We have to talk about this. In addition, each week Richard can walk along with the cell phone in his pocket, and we can score his gait on two metrics. And those scores and the symptom reports will come back to our database. And then in addition, once a week, we can score by two metrics his voice. And as we learn the voice and gait score and just the headspace, right, of the patient, where are they symptom wise and treatment wise, then we can begin to design up an AI to kind of help us guide those settings. And so right now, those settings were discovered largely by trial and error by Toss at Stanford. They're working for roughly a third of the folks that received the glove. Another third say they're not quite sure whether they're working, and another third say that they're not working. And so this and the same things happen with DBS, and like we have to. There's such a broad spectrum of Parkinson's diseases that it's not too surprising that we need to tune. I haven't talked about how to tune it yet because not everyone has had the device in hand that allowed them to do that.
Okay.
Stephen, are you saying that the gloves are gathering data and transmitting it?
At present, they're not. They're not. Yeah. So in fact, and to tell the truth, yeah, the gloves. That's right. So the gloves are not gathering data. So the app will gather the data, and with your permission, right? You will sign on to the app. You will have to grant permission to share that data with anybody else, right? And
And how do
so
we get the app?
that's
You,
that
you
that
probably
that
covered that.
I will cover that this week when I announce that it's available. Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
there'll be detailed instructions for how to get it. It is completely free. How to get it, how to install it, and then to Mary's question, then how do we use it?
Will it also address the issue of, I think this has been brought up before, that there's, after a certain period of use, there's some agitation that happens, and looking at whether the vibration level's too high,
Right,
maybe?
right. Yes, yeah. So yeah. So that's a great question, Mary. I don't have a firm answer on that, but the hope is, right. So the hope is that we can tune the glove to the symptoms, right? And if there's any kind of negative side effects, then that's something we should definitely be trying to tune away from. And then it's finding kind of the sweet spot, right? So can we deliver sufficient vibration to address some symptoms without exacerbating other symptoms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because up till now, when Rich gets to that point, when that happens, which isn't all the time, right?
Right.
he just takes them off. He stops
Gotcha.
using it
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
that session.
Right, right.
So I
And
saw something
sometimes that's
interesting.
like an hour and a half.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Mary, what are the symptoms that Rich is displaying that makes you want to interrupt the session?
It's really two things. One, I start to get what I think is probably dyskinesia, which I normally don't have. It's never been diagnosed as being dyskinesia, but it's an involuntary jerk, mostly in my legs. And the second thing is it just plain old gets kind of irritating,
The
which
third
I
thing,
don't feel when I first put the glove on. It's
yeah,
like it's just getting fatigue of the vibration.
the third thing that you've mentioned is that when that you reach that point, your toes start curling and your tremor comes back.
Okay. I
So
have noticed some dyskinesia, and I was wondering if, my dopamine production has gone up because of the gloves, which could cause the dyskinesia.
I mean that's also been an explanation I've heard from Ken Taranto. So Ken, I think you and Conwar even mentioned, one of the early glove wearers, that there seems to be some parallel, which again kind of makes sense, between kind of too much glove and too much levodopa leading to
Well,
dyskinesia.
the glove basically is doing the same thing as medicine. So as you wear the gloves, you can reduce the medicine. And that's what Conwar did.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No, you want to
Conrad did
get
succeed in lowering his medication, and we have had, and again, I've not done, I've had my head too much in the design space and not enough in the assessment space. So we've had anecdotal evidence on these, on these Zoom gatherings, um, to folks that go to the neurologist and say that I want to report a reduction in symptoms after wearing the glove, and the neurologist says keep a log, come back in 3 months. If the symptoms, continue to diminish in the way you're saying, then we'll talk about lowering the drug level.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for me, that's a hopeful. Other conversations with neurologists, have been more kind of just um, like they don't have the bandwidth to really entertain this kind of fringe treatment. That's not yet had gigantic clinical trials with hundreds or thousands of patients. So
there's an interesting page in that CureTech website too. It says the neuromodulation methods we use are based on advanced developments and studies carried out at the Jülich Research Center in
mhm.
Germany. So they didn't just use Peter Tass's algorithm. They and Peter actually worked there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's and then he said their CEO worked with the team and established the fundamental algorithms that enable us to precisely modulate brain activity.
yeah. That's a huge claim, right? I mean, to be able to, I mean, to
Yeah.
modulate means to change. So to change brain activity just by changing vibrations in fingers. I mean, I think all of us here tonight are hopeful believers that's possible. Um, but our knowledge of the brain is still in its infancy to understand how to. We know how to control the brain by sticking electrodes or big magnets there, but by playing tunes into fingers, it's yeah. So I'm
These
happy to
methods
hear
have already been
that the
used.
German company followed up on TAS, because I mean TAS has published nothing since 2021 on this. So it's interesting that companies are pursuing um, that direction, and hopefully we can collaborate, exploit, instead of reinventing the wheel ourselves. So
Yeah, it says these methods have been used successfully in clinical studies for several indications, such as Parkinson's disease and tendinitis.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
So they're
uh,
working with the algorithms, and that
yeah,
I have to say is I know of no do-it-yourselfer who was working with the algorithm.
mhm, yeah.
Everybody just took the Stanford protocol.
So I've got 8 or 9 friends, and I think we've got a couple of new guests. So I'm also thinking, that shifting. And I made the mistake of 8 to 7, and just time zones are also a nightmare. Arizona and New Mexico, where are we west or Pacific or mountain? And it's we've been going at this for an hour and 10 minutes. There's going to be there. I record each of these sessions. You can find them at the playlist right on our front page of our Espanola GloveWorks webpage. I typically do have enough time each week for 15 to 20 minutes of a science presentation. And I'm super excited about the one that I was prepared to deliver tonight, but I don't want to keep, for example, Ken's in Florida. It's well after 10 o'clock now in Florida. We don't need to keep these folks up any longer. We will be here, every other Monday from 7 to 8 something Mountain Time, right? And um, so I'm so excited about this stuff, the neuroscience talk. I mean, I would like to give a short abstract, but it's probably um, it's probably just enough to say that there's been lots and lots of claims about these weight loss drugs, Ozempic, for example, kind of freeing up the food noise that causes obesity, that kind of comes along with well, I guess it's a different story for kind of diabetes, but these drugs were first discovered as treatment for diabetics. They've now been seen to have amazing results on obesity, and there's still so kind of contradictory, ambivalent clinical trials on their efficacy for Parkinson's, but the promise for Parkinson's is huge, right? And the review paper that you can find hanging from our agenda kind of speaks to some of the underlying biology. So I was hoping to kind of give you guys a survey of that underlying biology to kind of give us a lens by which we can maybe interpret coming, future clinical trials. Even kind of recommending that if you guys can get your hands on a clinical trial yourself, it seems especially useful for folks that are kind of doubly plagued with diabetes and Parkinson's. So, Julie, is that your situation? Are you? Hope you're muted, Julie. So.
I'm not diagnosed with diabetes. My A1C is high-ish, so I've been borderline for a few years. But I was taking it for weight loss. I am using it for weight loss, slow but great. So
Uh-huh.
past couple of years or so.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, And so if folks are curious, you want to take a look at that at the paper linked to the agenda. Does that make sense? Everyone, are people receiving the agenda that I'm sending out and seeing there's a Zoom link as well as a link to the science paper? Jim Holden, I see
Yes.
thumbs up. Okay.
Yep.
Um,
No.
yeah.
Oh, the Google document.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's a huge literature, and also that just maybe one final note. There's kind of a small world part of the paper that I chose. I chose it for kind of it addresses Parkinson's, but yet as a review paper. It's not going to go some kind of deep narrow dive. But also the editor of the paper is the neurologist that I'm working with to begin clinical trials of our glove in Texas. So she's exploring lots and lots of alternative treatments. So I'm super excited about kind of the GLP-1 receptor agonists, Ozempic for lack of a better word, that efficacy on Parkinson's research. And also just to try to connect some dots. We talked about red light for 5 minutes. And so in discussing the red light therapy, I tried to also look at kind of the underlying biology. It's really helping energy production in mitochondria. And that's exactly what the Ozempic is doing. It's also addressing energy imbalance in mitochondria. The paper does, I think, a quite nice job of stressing how the cells that produce dopamine are some of the hardest working cells in the body. So any energy imbalance in the brain is going to target the ones that are the hardest working, and those are the cells that are making dopamine. Um, so that's a little bit of a precursor for where I want to take us on June 22nd. And I thank Julie for turning me on to this direction of research.
Oh, yeah. Well, could I just briefly too? I would like to uh, see if there is some person or whatever that had more that could talk with me about the red light therapy because the items available, some of them are a helmet which is targeting more the brain,
The
but
brain,
then
yeah.
a lot of them are these panels and targeting possibly more the digestive
Mhm.
aspect of it all, microbiome and all that. So I don't know which people are using for attempting to treat Parkinson's.
Yeah. So
You
that's
know.
I don't have a manufacturer or kind of the trials that have been out there, but iPad KTS. Sorry, I don't have your name, sir. If you can help me out,
Oh, Keith.
Keith. Okay, thanks. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And so, are you using a panel, Keith, for the red light therapy that you're doing? Or are you?
Yeah, it's about this size. It's kind of flat, and I'm doing it on my forehead. I'm doing it on my carotid arteries and my gut.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay.
for Parkinson's, and I'm doing it on my shins for leg cramps, and um, yeah,
All
Gotcha.
right.
Is it helping?
I think it is. I think it is. I used it for several months, and then I stopped using it for about a year. And as my symptoms got worse with Parkinson's, I started doing it again. It's only been about a month and a half ago. Um, and I think one thing, it kind of calms my mind. Um, and I think it has helped with my leg cramps. And as far as the Parkinson's symptoms, they're progressing really slow with me. So I don't know if that's, because of the red light and the gloves and all the other things I'm doing. Um, so yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, there's no single solution, I don't think. I
Yeah.
mean, even when you get down to, to an assortment of things, still exercise plays a big role. Um, your diet plays a big role. So I think of it as a cocktail of sorts
Right.
when you
Yeah.
layer these things all together. And you're
We
right.
call this shotgun approach.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. You don't know, well, what is it that I'm feeling better? Why am I feeling better? I'm
Right.
taking, there's five
It's
things
great.
in my program right now. Which ones are
Yeah.
affecting me?
Yeah.
I just say hallelujah, I feel better.
Right.
Let it
Right.
go at that.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or concerns? Should we leave it with Lauren's hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
I
Yeah,
have a,
hallelujah.
I have a couple questions. So we're meeting every other Monday, is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and how can we communicate between those meetings? Is there like
Um,
a group?
yeah, there's a Facebook group and an Instagram group. Um,
And if I don't do either of those, I'm out of luck.
if you don't do either of those, then we can find ways to do that. If you've got concerns about kind of glove malfunctions or something like that, you can definitely talk to Laura at Espanola GloveWorks, and then she sets up Zoom meetings with me, and we talk about glove issues. Um, And for common things, like how to find and install and run an app, we'll make a demo video and post that to our webpage. Um,
And how do I get links to previous meetings that have been recorded?
gotcha. So I'm gonna share my screen right now. Yeah, and so let me. Um, sorry, um, don't know why it needs to be me. So let me come in through another angle just real quickly, so I don't have to sign back in. Um,
Your signature block is a great way to get into these places.
Yeah, this that my signature is one way. So here's the webpage, Keith.
Okay,
And basically there's a playlist here that's maybe not the I need to kind of work on there's a few playlists now. So the best place is to click on Journal Club. Can you see my cursor on the top right?
yes, yep,
Yeah. So if I click on Journal Club, then basically these are we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, which
Yeah.
I'm somewhat excited about. I mean, some kind of milestone that we've been having these conversations, and a few of us have been here since the beginning. And I feel really, really lucky to have your attention, support, and suggestions. So here's the
great,
YouTube playlist, right, of all of
great.
these sessions, Keith. Okay. Um,
Thank you.
and then I will soon put up the agenda for the next meeting. So all the agendas are there with the Zoom links and the links to the science papers that we've been discussing. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Um,
What kind of feedback are you getting from your students in their participation in this?
uh, yeah, really powerful, Mary. So have you seen some of the students being interviewed on television and their what they've been talking about? Um,
I can't remember if I may have watched one a while ago, but I can't remember.
yeah, and so because um, anecdotally, I've got just like talking with you guys, I've got hundreds of things, but it's really great when I hear them being interviewed, by a newspaper or by television, and speaking completely, from their heart, and so they are. Um, and there's two levels. So there's kind of initially, um, you know, the first positive response I get, right, is the basically the pride of actually making something that makes a difference in people's lives. But if and so but it's really the making thing that comes first. So they did not see themselves as having skills that could be useful for anybody. And my favorite story, right, is there's a young woman. She's a wrestling student. She not It's quite far from any academic track. A friend kind of introduced her to the Glove Project. Um, she's and she struggled to find her place. She is now the most competent assembly person for the glove box that of anyone. She's a sophomore in high school, and and she's basically kind of she's like hangs out in the workshop during between classes. She's like found like a purpose, and um, so that's on the skill-based things, right? So this group practice, heavily focused, um, is not something she found in other classes. And then the flip side, other kids are, the more social ones, they're actually they found a way to like this project makes caring and empathy cool. So for teenagers, you're not really allowed to. I mean, they want to care. They want to show empathy, but it doesn't. It's just there's not a natural way to do that, right? I mean, in our current academic setting, in our current classroom setting, and so. And so the chance, so I mean, it was super touching when Jim Holden, here, was on the screen, came for a pair of gloves recently and got to meet one of the glove manufacturers. She's on the super social side. She's less kind of proud of her engineering work, but she's making the cards. She's doing some of the soldering, but she's able to like receive Jim and receive his thanks. And to see a teenager hug an old stranger, I think that's golden. I mean, I know there could be, maybe I shouldn't be recording such things, but this is a space where those things can happen, and they happen regularly, and they're not staged. It's not a workbook that says, you will now care for someone, or you will now achieve mastery at a certain kind of technical skill. That's not part of our current education system. So um, I know Mary just had to step out, but I can continue with
Very,
this.
I'm listening. I'm
Okay,
putting
gotcha.
my
I can
battery in and
I
out of my computer. That's really profound, Steve. I
okay.
think that the benefits that students are getting from you are what education
Yeah.
should be doing.
So
It's wonderful. It's what education should be doing. It's wonderful.
I can just close with one more example, right? And so it's really best to hear it in the students' own words. And um, so New Mexico is a small state, 2 million people. We kind of just have there's one TV center in Albuquerque. That's an hour and a half from our school, and they came out in April and filmed and interviewed a high school student and a college student, and the students were both quite eloquent about their role in this process. Yeah, that was in March, and April was Parkinson's Awareness Month.
Right.
And the governor of our small state, on her LinkedIn page, to kind of to recognize Parkinson's Awareness Month, she shared the video of Espanola GloveWorks kids being interviewed and on Channel 13 in Albuquerque. And
Wow.
so it's got the attention of the governor, which that's can't do much better than that. And it's not the attention on us, it's attention, these kids having voice and being shared by the governor. It's just I'm super proud of them.
That's wonderful. Have you invited any of them to participate in this Zoom call?
I have, yes, yeah, and we have had them on occasion, um, and it's yeah. On most of the Zoom calls, we do have a college student. On a few, maybe on half a dozen, we have had the occasional high school student. It's typically as they're preparing for a competition or something like that. We get them. I've not been able to get them to speak and here, and so it's just I'm not sure how to do that. It'll take the right student. With some of the high school students, we have been invited to other Parkinson's groups, and I presented with high school students live, like in libraries here in New Mexico, but also I think that maybe the recording might even be linked to our webpage. Sharon, I lost her name. She's in Northern California. She suffers from Parkinson's. She runs a blog called Twitchy Woman, and I think it's a monthly video series. And so Chelsea Cisneros and I were guests on that show, and it was a love fest. I mean, these women suffering from Parkinson's able to support a young woman, a young rural Latina, actually making technology for Parkinson's. So she just finished her freshman year in engineering at the University of Denver. Very few
Wow.
of our kids leave town. The average student in Espanola is 3 years behind the national average. So it's a disgrace. Um,
Well, I'm just wondering if they were to even on a regular basis have one of them have an opportunity to just listen and
yeah,
see what kinds of questions they have afterwards,
yeah,
or prompt them before they come to think about, what questions do you have that came up because of listening to what
right.
these patients said?
Yeah, yeah,
That inquiry, getting
for
them
sure. No, that's powerful, and we've been lucky that we've got half a dozen local folks with Parkinson's who do come and visit, right? And we do have a chance for one-on-one. But also to speak to your point, and this is not that doesn't go as far as what you're suggesting, but we often have one or two of the teachers that I work with in the high school are also with us. And so they're able to glean on to some of the observations that they hear from you all, things they want to share with the students, and then these teachers do, and they go in and they edit the videos that I just showed you guys, and they bring those kind of highlights to the students as kind of conversation starters. So
I'm just thinking about the 14-year-olds that enjoy TikTok so much.
yes,
I mean, this is a bunch of old people here that have, it's just that we just aren't on the attractive list for most, I think, young kids anyway.
no,
Well, they all have grandparents. Most of them have grandparents.
yes,
Yeah, my granddaughter, for example, she would be like, how boring.
yeah,
But talks to you, Grandma.
it's tough competition. Yeah,
Yeah. But she still talks to you, doesn't she, Grandma?
That's the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, one on one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Steve, for all that you're doing. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
thank you.
There's three of us that are on here because we heard about this from you speaking to the Parkinson's support group in Santa Fe. And one of the people that was there used to live in Sonoma County. And I'm still in touch with her, and she sent that information to Rich and I, and we've shared it in California. So some of the people that you've now got as users came from that one contact.
gotcha.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I hooked into this through Twitchy Woman.
Gotcha. Okay.
And where did the name come from, Espanola?
It's the city.
Yeah, Espanola is the name of the town where where my college is in Espanola, and the high school that I work with. So this is Yeah, if there's a silver bullet to education, I think it's mentoring. And so I've been bringing college students into the high school in this kind of impoverished town. So Espanola means just, kind of Spanish woman. So it's a railroad town that got created when the railroad began to run, kind of taking chili peppers from northern New Mexico and trading them for potatoes in southern Colorado. So there was a chili line, and Espanola just got built. Um, Espanola was already there. There are two native pueblos on either side of Espanola. Um, and so one of them calls itself the first capital of America. So this is close to a place of first contact um, between the Spanish and the Native Americans in New Mexico in the 1590s,
Wow.
way before the Mayflower. So the place has a real soul. The town is 80% Hispanic and 20% Native.
Oh,
Right.
And there aren't many positive stories coming out of Espanola. It was an early adopter to the opioid crisis, and so something like this, celebrating the security guards and the staff at the front office are like super proud that their kids are actually making a positive difference in the community. So
Yeah.
And low riders, Steve.
and lowriders, yeah, it is.
We're the low rider capital.
It
Espanol
is
is a
it,
low rider capital.
it is,
So,
yes.
Julie, you live locally.
I
You live
did.
in
I lived
Espanola.
She
nearby for a
used she
long
used to.
time.
She migrated to a greener state in Colorado.
Up to
Oh,
Colorado, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, folks, it's after 8:30. Shall we leave it there? And I look forward to resuming our conversation, uh, dipping, of course, much more deeply into the Ozempic PD connection next time.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye.
Okay,
Yeah,
good night.